Just to show us what we're going to be changing. Living County.
Is it rum? Oh, great.
Is that how it works?
That must be for the new board member.
Oh, no, you
Yeah.
What name's on it?
Oh, no.
I know. How was lunch?
I wouldn't talk to me either. Thanks. Yep, I wouldn't say hi either.
She didn't say hi to anybody.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm used to it. After I was already here. And so was Sarah. No, it isn't. I felt awful. He never asks for my help, and when he does, I can't help him. He said,
I put him to work today, though.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, cold.
Hacking books. Hacking books.
I had, when he came, I had a couple of things to do, so I figured, man, I'm
And I met someone that's probably related to me. From the same town with 50 people with the same last name. Yeah.
And this guy showed up and spent an hour and a half there right after Josh.
Yeah, I'll take 6 of those, a dozen of those, half dozen of those. Oh my God. Heck yeah.
Almost.
Heck yeah.
He didn't give me everything.
Yeah, it was a good day.
I had enough to buy. Josh did.
Right. You don't get to keep it by giving it away.
Now it's just like Fairfield. He's coming to Lions Club tomorrow night.
Is it?
Isn't that tomorrow night, Becky? Now he's coming to the Lions Club tomorrow night.
Yeah, he wasn't there the last time. I was there last time.
Yeah, it must be tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. I'm not family tonight.
Yeah, you're not.
Good ambulance.
Oh my gosh, the food there? Incredible.
Really?
Yeah. What is it, the Lutheran Women's Club? It's like cooking for them for 40, 50 years.
But Jack said you can't pick on him. You can't pick on him. Well, it wasn't you, and it was in general. We're not allowed to pick on him.
Not allowed to ask him hard questions.
No hard questions.
Right. That's
The trouble is you never know which question's the hard one.
Yeah, pretty much any of them.
Oh, I got one.
What?
I got one for him tonight. Where's his wife?
I don't know. He's probably covered another meeting. They work more than anybody I've ever met. They're all the time doing something.
She's still there.
You know who we did see at the Burlington
Really?
And that doesn't mean it doesn't mean he wasn't there.
That's right. He could be
He's
there.
probably there
Now.
right now. Right. We'll meet up later for a glass of wine or something.
So you want to be a bus driver?
It's up to bus driver.
My mom is doing the same thing. She had a car for years, right? And then when I got married, she was like, you appreciate it. I
Where did they eat?
I don't know.
Hey, Becky, where did you eat tonight? What did you eat tonight? Yeah, you were invited to a dinner prior to. What are you going to eat next week? It was either that or a barbecue out in the parking lot.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. Feels like spring.
begging for information. You're like, what is happening in your life? You know everything. Yes. That's true. You haven't did it. What about the one in the middle? Okay, the one at the end is the vacancy. All by yourself
The school district where I used to teach, they have a very similar situation. They had a revolt. Thought they had enough votes to get rid of the superintendent and the other group. I mean, it ended up these days. The thing is, they had 8, and they decided after that they had to go to odd number.
Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call.
Mrs. Paquette?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey? Mrs. Mays?
Here.
Mrs. Meichel?
Here.
Mr. Murray?
Here.
Mr. Stroller?
Here.
Mrs. Van Meter?
Here.
Mr. Wickham?
I need a motion to approve the December 7th reorganization meeting.
Second.
We need a roll call, or can I just go in favor?
We usually do all of them.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the regular board meetings for December 7th.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I need a motion to approve the January 11th Committee of the Whole work session. Thanks, Becky.
Motion's for
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, guess we haven't met in a while. All All right, we're gonna move right to our middle school elementary technology update. This Kathy is.
Hello. It's not really a technology kind of question like that, but an idea on what we've been doing in the elementary building this year that is built on from last year. So last year was the first time that I was able to work down in the elementary building, and you have some handouts from me highlighting some of the, it really doesn't, it'll be fine, Aaron. It'll be okay. It's whatever, it just doesn't want to get thrown over the head. So, last year was the first time that I got to work down in the elementary building, and we started with 3rd and 4th grade. And it was to highlight working with the classroom teachers and collaborating between curriculum and technology, as well as starting the typing skills down at that level. Because what I was noticing as the 5th grade typing teacher, they were coming to us already with bad habits already established. And it was a lot harder to break those at that point than teaching them the right way and harping on them as 3rd and 4th graders instead. And then it gets to be routine with them after a while. I was very impressed with the results from last year in keyboarding, as well as how the students responded to the programs we used. And when I had my first quarter of 5th graders this year, I was absolutely floored with the skills that they came into me with, based on what they accomplished as 4th graders last year. So I wanted to highlight for you, for those who weren't accustomed to what I've done last year, what they have accomplished and how that has transpired over into more academic support. It's not just about the typing, it's about the academic support, which has been very beneficial. Classroom teachers have responded on how well it has benefited the students and how quickly they are picking up the processes and the programs themselves, with the familiarity of either the experience on the computers as a classroom or, with the teacher talking. So you have some numbers and some short blurbs about the highlight websites, but I also want to actually show you what it is the students enjoy with them. And that's the big part that I like on my elementary kids' part. So the first one I want to highlight is called Happy Numbers. And this is a program that we used last year only as 2nd grade. And we started it about midway through the year because we were just figuring out what we were going to do with 2nd grade computers anyway. And it is a step-by-step math program that this week I started with 1st grade as well, because of how well the 2nd graders have taken to it. We want to keep all the grades progressing with it. And I had my first grade class last week, and I had my 2nd one for the first time this week, today. And they like just jump right into it. I mean, children are born in the computer age. They know what's going on and stuff, and being able to get them to apply it to academics without them realizing how much they're learning, it really is a benefit. This program goes step by step though, to show basics, just counting even, moving things from one area to a box to claim 10, so that they get the familiarity with moving the mouse and clicking and dragging, which are skills that they need whenever we're trying to have them do the math testing for determining how they're doing in their progression. I know that's, a little here and there, but there is going to be computerized testing that they're going to need to do. We need them to be familiar with the computers. So a little highlight on the program is the students all have their own username and password, and they have to go step by step. It's blocked so that they can't jump ahead, because there are certain activities then that they find are a little more entertaining than others, and can be a big impact. And so this is just one that shows you how I've already done all of them so that I'd be able to jump ahead, not like the kids can. It tells you fill the box, and now it's asking how many total pairs do I have, because I've already gone through where I filled the box and it kept me saying there's 10 in the box, there's 10 in the box, there's 10 in the box, because this is 1st grade, okay? And then it says, well, how many are outside the box? And then it gets that 10 plus whatever for that kind of skill.
So I've got 10, or don't mess up, 15. And they get that green ball that jumps right across. So instantaneous response, positive reward. They know exactly how many more questions they have to do before they jump to the next level. And that jump is a big thing, because once they get through this level, they jump to a new world. And that's what they all want to do, is move ahead, move ahead. So if I go back, I already today just completed my 12 steps here so that I'd be able to show you how we jump from one world to another.
Yeah, we really didn't have that much time.
Took me during my lunch, my dinner time, I did that. But you can see that it goes from numeration 11 to 20, and then it goes to pan balance. And that's focusing on the concept of formulas and being balanced. And if you have 6 over here, what plus 2 do I need to make it equal? So it's the formulas of basically algebra as a first grader, okay? But it makes it very visual and very interactive for them to be able to do that. So balance the scales. Well, I can start with a 4 and think that that's what a bunny would weigh. Oh, not quite. So I've got to go for another one. And there I balance. So how much does the bunny weigh then? It's 5. I hope. Yep, there goes my bunny. There it goes, all right. So that's one of the things. And second grade, I already have about half of one class who is halfway through the 8 stages of second grade. Last year, we barely got, because we started halfway through the year, we got all 3 classes pretty much through 2 levels, but it was just once every 8 days, so it wasn't too often. But they really just took off with it this year. They do it at home. They have their own personal username. They have their own personal login so that they're able to practice at home. Okay, so that's happy numbers. That's a big one. This is the one that most students love the most. For grades 2nd through 8th grade is what I've had it set up for before. Okay. And this one, this year, changed to the point that it does regulate how the students are on grade level or not. Okay, and last year I established what grade level they were taking it in. This year, we just have it set as a base grade level, and it adjusts the students' difficulty based on how they're progressing. This is a free site that we utilize. We don't have as much data to be able to pull from it because we don't pay for it. But the students really enjoy all the different activities. I can't play them all because I'm not logged in as a student, so you can see all the different activities that they do. They challenge each other during the school day. When we play it in a class, they can only play against their classmates, or they have to play the computer. The other thing that is a big deal is that they are able to earn, I gotta go back. They can earn coins to buy things. And buying things, of course, is always an exciting venture. But the problem is I'm the one who runs the store. So while we're here during the school day, the store's closed. So they can't spend the class time working at the store because that's all they want to do is change their outfits. So let's see what kind of a game this one is. Since I'm in as just a guess, it's not going to be very difficult math, so I hope not to embarrass myself. Okay? You play against other players. Some of them are timed. I have some students on many different levels who how many balloons do I have? I have 1. Okay. So I have many different students who might be in a certain grade, but their math skills are not quite grade level. And so they're able to work at their ability level to still practice math and yet enjoy the activities just like everyone else is. You've got to read the questions carefully, as the students have found out many times. Ooh, bonus play, drag to the answer. There we go. Okay. So if we get it wrong, we get an X and we don't get to build up. And my time is almost up in more ways than one. 16. And eventually, though, it does end so that I'm just gonna topple it so you can see what happens if it hits low. Eventually, things start falling off automatically. Oh my, oh jeez. I work with computers, not math so much. My time is up too, I got 3 more minutes. Stop, there we go. Okay, let's go with that, okay. 25 seconds left, come on. How many? 6. And the other characters, you can see their stack going right here, so you can see who you're playing against, how close they are, or how far, oh, that's not gonna work. Yeah. 6. Let's get something going on, another cow. Even, okay, I saved a little bit, there we go. I'm more. Good, sounds fun. 6. Bonus. Oh, and then we get chomped out. Okay, there's a big bunny that flies in like a boulder, and that's what they're like, oh my gosh. But then you see, I had 19 coins, and I came in first place, not bad. But then it goes through what you got wrong, so that when you go back through it, you're able to see where you made your mistake and fix it for the next time, which is always not something they like to stop and think about. And then we can play again. The last one that I really want to highlight, and I'll have to go quick, is the Everyday Math program. This is the first time we've tried this, is we have actually connected it with the math series. There is a computer component with that. And I've gone through all of 3rd grade, all of 4th grade, all of 6th grade with the students, with the teachers, and highlighted all the aspects of this program that, again, benefits them at home, because if they don't have their student resource book, it's online. If they lost their math box for the day, it's online. And they can take care of it right there, how the teacher said. You don't even have to be able to print it out. Just write your answers, and when we go over it in class, you're just fine. But, again, the highlights for me are how it benefits those who don't know this newfangled math. And that comes into video tutorials. So parents, if they're on a topic and you're like, what on earth are they asking you to do? You are able to click on the estimation video, and it shows you step by step what they want to see as the answer. Okay, so even though it's not what we're accustomed to doing as old timers, it's what they want to see on the paper, and it shows you every single step of the way as a video. Okay, so it wants you to stop and talk about it and all that, but I want to keep going. And of course, it has games that are only available online, as well as this is the one that most of the teachers and I have enjoyed, hands-on activities to be able to manipulate on the computer what it is we're trying to learn. And so they're able to do it as a class activity and then go back to our independent computers and practice it, or just work on it here as the class activity and then go back and do the classwork in the textbook that they're working in. Those are just a few of the things that we do in the elementary school, adding this technology component. And I thank you all very much for that opportunity. Thank you.
It's like a very powerful tool.
It is, I mean, and because of how far they've gone with it and how much we're adding to it, there's publishing programs that we also work with. That's just not quite my forte as much, and so I leave that for the teachers. I act as support then. I make sure the computers are doing what the computers are supposed to be doing for them. And now we're also moving on to
So wait, before you move on to something else, just going back to this.
Right now, she's struggling to turn off the LCD.
Yeah, this is how it
Okay,
goes.
while you're doing that, I ask these questions, but they probably might already know them, but maybe the audience doesn't. You are part of the rotation, just like art and.
I am not.
Okay, tell us where, how you fit in.
Thank you. At the middle school, I am. I'm part of the exploratory team at the middle school. They get a grade for my keyboarding, they get a grade for my 7th and 8th grade applied technology, which my students showed 2 years ago. And with the improvement at the elementary building, I'm able to bring those kind of topics of applied technology into 6th grade now, so we're supporting the science. But at the elementary building, I'm co-teaching. So the teachers are with me as either the lab or in the room 8 that I work in, or they're pulling students out individually as they're doing makeup work, catch-up work, testing and stuff like that, while I'm maintaining the students. And that's how it's been for the last 2 years.
And how do you see this program going? In the
Myself,
future?
myself being in the elementary, right now I'm working in getting to time with first and kindergarten. But in my opinion, this is just me, and I know this isn't part of my time frame, Ms. Kugler, so she asked a question.
It's okay.
I'm at my time. I don't think kindergarten and first grade should have that much time on the computers until we're halfway through the year, because they're not physically capable, they have other things they need to be focusing on. And so now that they've learned how to get into the school setting, now we're able to apply it for those who are advancing and need to be kept going, and those who are struggling on only certain skills. I would very much like to see this continue as it is. I want to have my science, because that's where I've always been, my heart, my science more into the 6th grade, so that we're able to help out with the science in 8th grade PSSAs. Because the science has been cut a lot.
Do you go with the 6th grade camp?
I do not.
Okay.
I did it when I was a 6th grade teacher. Yeah. Long ago. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Erin or Lauren, what can you share with us?
Right now we are in the middle of our high school spirit week. So this week the teams each day, Monday is Jersey Day, where students are allowed to wear their jerseys representing their favorite sports team. Tomorrow is going to be Disney Day, where students get to dress as their favorite Disney character. Wednesday is going to be superhero, where they're Monday, where students get dressed as stereotypical tourists with like the button-up floral shirts and socks and sandals. I think it's going to be very fun. And then Friday is going to be our regular spirit day. And on Friday we're having a big winter pep rally where all sports teams are going to be announced, all winter sports teams, and they play the games like competing against each other, which is always fun to watch. And then also because of the German holidays that are coming up, we are also showing many of the traditions within the pep rally. It's kind of explaining them, students don't really know about it. And after the pep rally, the one will be probably hosting events for further training.
Well, we're about a month into musical rehearsals. This year we're doing a Little Mermaid Junior production. It should be on, I believe, March 4th and 5th, the 2 showings that we have. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good show. We're having a lot of fun so far. What else? Oh yeah, report cards should have come in the mail yesterday or the day before. You should have gotten information about this year's yearbooks. They are, I believe, $65 for high school. Seniors, with your parents, they can purchase ads to say, "Oh, my kid was so great over their 4 years of high school."
So for that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have to pay for it.
Okay, okay.
But just so you know, that's an option for if you're a parent of a senior. You can do that. And that's about all. Make sure to order your book soon. We put a lot of thought and effort into them. A lot.
Good report.
Okay, building celebrations.
Yes.
Since Barb's not here,
Go through it.
Patty?
I kind of have a different take on my building celebration this evening. I'm celebrating tonight 5th and 6th grade, and the pride that the students take in their work when they are completing a project. The bio bottles here are from 6th grade students, and they actually read a biography or an autobiography, and then either dress like the character or make these bio bottles. And she tells us to honest. I love Mark Zuckerberg, Gabrielle Rogers, and Gary Colson. And Cookie. And Cookie, yes, they're also, yes. And Mrs. Midley has the rest of the bio bottles displayed in the library. But they're so proud when they walk into the bio bottles, which they should be. And then we have our 3D cell models, which are from the 6th grade. They're down here on the floor. I'm sorry, where else to put those. But we have those in display as a gallery for the teachers and students to view during the 5th grade classroom. And again, when kids come in, they come in the morning with their projects. They're so proud of the projects, and again, which they should be. We did have one, it didn't last very long. Somebody actually had a pizza made, and the pepperoni was one thing, and like all the toppings represented parts of the cell. I think that one may have gotten extra credit because Mr. Barnes really liked that. And he did eat it. And then for 5th grade, today they had a very special teacher in their room. She was a meteorologist. Mrs. Price dressed as a meteorologist. She came in her little rain bonnet and her rain poncho, and she wore rain boots, and they made weather stations. So this is just an example of the weather stations that the 5th grade students made. And on the tables up here, we have snowflakes.
These are
gorgeous. They are gorgeous. This is a 6th grade activity that actually Mrs. Spinks has a math lesson to go with it. They cut each of those, twisted those, and very intricate. So there's one for each of you to take.
And if you don't want yours, I'll take them. I have a great idea for these.
We call that origami?
You want
Okay.
And I would like to share that Rachel Murdor and Amanda Crossley in 6th grade, they made those on their own time over a week, and they made the snowflakes.
Tell them thank you.
I will. Yeah, Mrs. Ryder, did you give them the snowflakes yet? You know, we did board meeting. What were their names again? Rachel Murdor and Amanda Crossley, 6th grade students. And then also in 5th grade, the 5th grade students have a math. Yes, they have a math project where they are to build a snowman, and each of the snowballs costs a certain amount, and their arms cost a certain amount, whether you want large or small arms. A blue scarf is $2.49, and a green scarf is $4.05. And they are to build a snowman that they may spend no more than $25, and it may not weigh over 50 pounds. And Mrs. Rosenberry said she had never had a student reach that, quite make that. It was a little over one way or the other. And this year she had 5 winners. As you can see, this was a winner. So this, and then they also write a paragraph about why you should buy this snowman. So they enjoyed making that project. I also want to share, and this is maybe more on a somber note, but serious. The middle school staff received their 2 types of trainings in the past month. One was the suicide recognition. And that's a hard training to sit through, but our counselors did an excellent job in delivering that training. I saw myself included, very moved by it, by the videos, by the warning signs. And as Ms. Cooper said, we hope that there are warning signs before students would ever do such an act. And we also received our ALICE training. ALICE, it's alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate. And that's for an intruder. And just as we had our January fire drill on Friday, one of the coldest days of the month, we had to get it in. We had our February fire drill today. Fire drills are very routine to us. I mean, students and teachers know exactly what to do. When we had our ALICE training, you learn something about yourself, how you would react. You just kind of freeze because Karen's chasing after us with an air gun. And then you learn how.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
And then you learn how those that teach around you react. I mean, some people, they, you know, I love having Mr. Haynes with me because he knew exactly what to do. But other people, they froze along with me. So, you know, we do need to do more of those trainings, but just to have accomplished that training at a staff level, I think was a celebration for the buildings. Thank you.
I do want to say, I heard from several teachers, employees, that was tough.
It was tough.
That was very hard.
Both of the trainings were tough. They were.
I hope that you do follow through your staff.
I had that as a, Ms. Boomer and I talked today about.
We have continued to do that, especially with the ones who struggle with that.
Not an easy thing. Okay, Ryan, something good?
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to celebrate some specific students tonight that have earned some awards here recently. 26 high school students submitted artwork for the Scholastic Art Awards. And there were some winners from our high school students. Lindsay Lytle got honorable mention for a painting. Katarina Roberts got honorable mention for photography. Rebecca Finnefrock got honorable mention for photography. Peyton Brokoff got 2 Silver Key Awards, and Hannah Odegaard got a Gold Key Award. Some of these will be displayed at the museum in Harrisburg. They didn't tell us which ones or if any of ours would be chosen, but some of them will be displayed. So this was a state organized award, which is great. If you looked at the high school webpage, you saw that Abby Hevington was part of the PA Student Leadership Program, and she recently met with U.S. Senator Robert Casey to talk about clean water and as it affects Chesapeake Bay. So that is on there. The article is on there if you'd like to read that. And then finally, recently here the second semester, Noah Hoffman got awarded an internship at the National Cancer Institute in Fort Detrick, which we've had students go there before, but it's quite an honor when you get to be able to work with some of the best minds in those fields. So our kids are doing great things. So
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Richard will be upset with me. She asked me to announce that the elementary play is this Thursday at 6:30 in the elementary multipurpose room. Free admission, and it features students in grades 2 through 4.
6:30, is that what?
6:30.
Thank you, Dave. Dave, we've got a new member we're going to be putting on the board tonight, and our notary is ill from the school, and so Dave has kindly said he would come to notarize that person so that they can take a seat tonight. I really appreciate that. Let's go out of order then. You're just a tad bit early. We were just.
It worked for me.
That's okay. If the public doesn't mind to hold their comments and let us get on with the board, the people that signed up, just nod your head. It's okay for us to change order.
You need to do the public comment before action items.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry, that's what the Sunshine Law requires, so.
Okay, we're gonna hold Caroline's. Caroline's. All right, Josh, you'd like to talk about snow?
I would. Josh Laird, but first, before the snow, for Mrs. Menser, we have a first grader that you had last week. She's not what you would call excited about anything having to do with math. She is now. She still talks about, I don't know anything about Sum Dog or the everyday math, but the happy numbers, she's still talking about. So whatever magic you're working, keep spreading it. And the snow, I wanted to talk about the half day we had that Friday. Whoever's call it was, right on. For me, I think that was fantastic. Everybody else around was scared, closing schools, and why take the children out of a normal routine? Let them get up, let them go. If it happens, it happens. You did exactly what you need to do. Send them home. But kudos, fantastic job.
Good evening, school director, superintendent, and the good people of Fairfield. I'm before you in my capacity as an educator, hoping to inform you as to possible concerns. We are less than 3 weeks away from having no elementary librarian to guide and inspire our students. When I talk with my principal, she tells me she has no idea what is planned. Our other Fairfield librarian has never been contacted for advice or been informed as to what is planned. I dare suggest that the board has not been informed as to a plan. And short of our ongoing website notice, the only other public notification of the job posting lasts 1 day in the local newspaper. Except for private meetings that may have been held, it publicly appears that there is no plan. And the only thing worse than a bad plan is having no plan at all. I recognize that these are difficult times to guide a school district. Financial pressures are overwhelming. Possibly someone is looking at this juncture as an opportunity to do something different and save money. I'm not against change, and nor should anyone else be. There may be different ways to operate a library media services program and still retain the goal of inspiring the gift of reading. The problem publicly appears to be that no one is looking. Let me call on the board for discussion and action. As I mentioned in my last appearance, one of the greatest gifts a library program can give a young student is joy of reading. Please do not let this slip from your grasp. I call on the board to publicly create a committee of persons to investigate whether the Fairfield Area School District should continue with its present program of library media services or embark on a new path. Please do so in the open light of publicly held meetings. Involve the educational community and the public in deciding our next direction with the library media services program. Specifically, I'm asking the following board action. Advertise extensively for a qualified long-term substitute to continue the present program until such time as you decide what the permanent direction shall be. Advertise not in just a local paper, but within the library and other professional communities. Form an ad hoc committee, as I just described, and travel to see several stellar library media programs in other districts. Balance what you see with the resources that you know can be made available to Fairfield. I would be happy to volunteer to be on this committee even after I retire. Most importantly, do all of this in the glaring light of public meetings. The quiet method used to date to determine the next step, if there is any method at all, only serves to breed mistrust and contempt. As Dr. Seuss says in one of our most popular books, oh, the things you can find if you don't get left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Your program is by far the best that I have seen in my experience in education. And I only hope that we are going to continue to have it just as it is now. However, I'm for change too. Unfortunately, we did start, and I can't say it's a committee, but I like your idea of a committee, and I would appreciate it because your expertise would be excellent for us, especially those of us that don't know what you know. Unfortunately, we're going to Hanover, and because of weather, we have not only Hanover, but other programs. So if you are aware of other programs, I would love to know about those. Because I know we have a board here that's willing to do whatever for education. And I would also like to see Ms. Mickley included in that, since she's still in our district. She's here. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. I didn't know what she does. So, it is nice to see you here too. All right, so we will be doing that. I'm not saying that the five of us were a committee, because we were just going to carpool. Greg was so worried about paying me for carpool. I kept telling him it's okay. But we will do that again. We'll set that up. Karen will set that up for us. He doesn't want
Oh, all right.
Paul, you did not want to speak to
Oh, no.
correct? Okay. April,
That's me.
yes?
Oh, this is.
Thank you, Mrs. Munster, for your wonderful program. My daughter, from the get-go, has loved everything she has learned from you, from the keyboard, learning the keyboard, learning the mouse. It really has made a difference. And this year with the everyday math has saved me from her coming home and bawling that she forgot her math and she wasn't gonna get to recess. So I really, really appreciate you working with the kids on that. It's working. The technology and bringing the math together, and like she showed the video, I've had to watch the video, particularly on estimation, because I didn't do math that way, so it was nice to learn third grade math all over again, as we do. So I wanted to make sure I said thank you. Again, I'm gonna talk about fifth grade being in the middle school. I think it's no secret to anybody how I feel about that. And I believe that the emotional stability of our children at 10 years of age belongs in the elementary school. I did a lot of research since our last meeting here at the beginning of January, and I'm trying to find one article that would make it okay. But unfortunately, I found nothing. And I do a lot of research. If you haven't found out over the last year, I pride myself on crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's. Didn't find any research that said it was perfectly fine for fifth graders to be in middle school. In fact, one article that I found questioned sixth grade being in middle school and found many cons to sixth grade being in middle school. That their development at that age is risky. That it stated that in sixth grade middle school, the sixth graders had more disciplinary problems than they did sixth grade in elementary school. And that disciplinary problem then reacted to their academics. So again, I would like to request that the administration send out a survey to parents of kindergarten through third grade to feel out where they stand on where we're putting fifth graders. Because again, I do not believe that fifth grade should be in the middle school. They belong with their elementary peers. It's too late.
It's not too late. Oh my gosh, it's not too late. One second.
I have to say, I agree with Maureen. I do think if you're sending out a survey, you ought to send it out to fifth and sixth grade parents. They also have a stake in.
We did that last year.
Oh, they're already there. They're already.
Well, I know they are,
No,
but
I'm
they're,
talking about fourth grade.
but their input though.
So I guess my first point was, last time I discussed this, we talked about kids adapting. And kids adapt. Kids adapt to their environment regardless if it's good for them or if it's bad for them. A kid is in an abusive situation, they adapt. It is our business to make sure that what they're adapting to is proper. That's it.
I appreciate everything you say, and I do love that you do your research. But just let me say this. No, I just want to say this because just in dealing with legislators who have told us what to do in education, and we are now testing till it makes me sick to my stomach. I just want us to do the research before we make any moves. And I know you're anxious, right? You have a third grade. And I appreciate that. But I just don't want us to just jump and do something.
And that's why I say surveying fourth and fifth grade is not going to do much good because this is gonna take time.
You're right.
This is gonna take time. We're not gonna say tomorrow, all right, let's do this, let's make the move. Because that's gonna be too much. And that's why I say, I'm sorry, I
I'm
know
sorry
that
too,
they
but I
need to do
totally
the
disagree.
research. Totally disagree.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your input.
Okay.
And you
I'm
guys,
talking about fourth and fifth grade.
I hear you.
Why is the fourth in there?
and you guys can do this
Okay,
then
fine.
after the meeting. Thank you so much. Outstanding.
Mr. Hazlett said just to call him whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
9 months to down.
Do I still have my 3 minutes or is it now 5?
No, you still only get 3.
Hey!
Paper cannot go off.
We need to change it. Most jurisdictions allow 5. Anyway.
You get 2, Bob.
April took your first.
You're using your
We're using your
time.
time. I'd like to welcome you to the school. We appreciate you all, and please continue to do a good job. I want to thank you all for putting the security gates out in the hall. That was pleasantly really cool night. Let's continue to work in the elementary school playground. I see that still as a problem. We talked about it before. We need to form a security committee here, I believe, about 12 people on it. I would have a list of those that I think should be on it. I'm glad to work with Karen or anybody relevant to security of the school. Continue to do zero-based budgeting, which means that you live within your budget and you do not raise taxes. I'll be happy to come back and teach the civics course again this year. I taught elementary school last year. We had 80 kids in there in the auditorium. I think they all loved it. We start with the American Revolution and go right on through current government. Lisa Sturgis asked me to come in and do her third or fourth grade short, so we'll do that. Let's do, interestingly enough, you all released at noon on Friday. Karen, the Goddard Space Flight Center closed at noon on Friday for the very same reason, snow, and it opened again Wednesday morning. So they were closed on Tuesday. So that was a good call, as Josh said. And finally, Karen, I brought in a copy of the police report, Carol Elliott, which I'll leave with you in Fairfield, and talks about crime in our area, and I thought you might be interested, just like I did. Okay, thank you.
I also wanted to give a big shout out to Howie. I gave it out to Mrs. Spencer and I forgot at the bottom I was supposed to give a big shout out to Howie for the snow removal. We were back in school with a late arrival on Wednesday. That was phenomenal. Good job.
Yeah, Liberty too. And I have friends in Maryland, their children just went back today. They have 6 days.
The whole state of Maryland.
It's because the urban.
Yeah.
Where we roar. Further out, and harder to get around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you want to do yours now?
I was pretty impressed.
All right, we're gonna go.
Okay, at your places, I gave each board member a document at the top that says variable column report. It's actually a 5-year history of our actual revenues. And then it includes, including this year's current budget. And then the very last column is what, just a very first pass for 16-17. And attached or behind that document, I actually went down, because there's a lot of new board members, and by revenue code, which is listed on this sheet, I explained what it is, where we receive it, and what my projection is based upon, whether it's based on history, whether it's based on some new piece of data. So for example, if you look at the document that says projected revenues and analysis, 6111 is real estate taxes. And it talks about how the 16-17 projection is based on the actual assessed numbers we received from the county. And those are the numbers we actually have to use for this budget purpose. The one thing we didn't have to do this year is deduct for the NOWS assessment appeal because that's over. So this is actually the true number. And this does not include any, this is just the way it is right now. This doesn't include any millage increase. But I did explain on this sheet exactly what our index is, which is 2.9%, which would allow for a maximum increase of 0.2810, would get us about $225,000 in new money, and would cost the median taxpayer $62. That's a question that always comes up over and over, so I've put it all down in this document, so as we go through the budget process, and we're looking at revenues and we're looking at expenditures, we can refer to this. Is there any time during the next month or two that logic may change based on information from the state? Let me put it out there and say probably not, doubt that, but this explains local, state, and a lot of them are very self-explanatory. If you look at the history, if we've received 12,000 in that area for the last 5 years, good bet my 16-17 projection is 12,000. Some of the other ones have different reasoning behind them, but I wanted to get this in your hand so you could start digesting it. I also wanted to review that in total right now, I'm projecting about 165,000 in what I would call new money, money that wasn't in that revenue budget last year. And that's not coming from the state. That's basically coming primarily from increased earned income tax collections that I feel are real, that we can actually put into 16-17, that I'm reasonably certain we will receive. That being said, just to try and, again, start talking about the budget, because you approved the resolution, our budget isn't due preliminary in May, final in June. But I think we need to start discussing these things now and in each board meeting hereafter so that we're prepared. The PSERS increase this year for 16-17 is going to be 16.2%. That number is finalized, which means our percentage goes from 25.84 to 30.03. At the current salary levels, making no changes but that increase, that will cost the district $145,000 in new money from the budget we're currently in to the next budget. Medical is a 4.4% increase. I would like to point out that for 3 years we've had no increases. So 4.4 in 4 years is basically 1% a year. Industry norm is closer to 9 or 10. So we've done very, very well in that arena. But that'll cost about, with no benefit changes, leaving everything status quo, that increase would cost us $73,000 in new money. So if you add those two line items together, it's $218,000, and I'm projecting $165,000 in new revenue. So that sort of tells you we have a lot of work to do on the expense side, a lot of reviews, a lot of discussion that I would like to start, because I really don't see the revenue side changing significantly. Even if we were to get the additional state monies that 2 or 3 months ago they said we might receive, and now they're saying don't count on it. For Fairfield, that was only about $70,000 in new money. So it wasn't like that was going to be the thing to save us. Our local revenues are about 61%. Our state revenues are 37%. Federal's less than 1%. But I'd like you to review the explanations, review my logic, review the historical data, obviously get back with me with any questions, and then we can discuss it in further detail at future meetings, along with expenditures.
Okay, moving along. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Walter Barlow, board member, effective as of December 30th. Okay. Roll call.
Mrs. Paquette?
Yes.
Mrs. Mays? Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Strawler?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Meter?
Yes.
Mr. Wickham?
Yes.
Mrs. Meisel?
Yes. Now we're looking to elect a new board candidate. We received 3 applicants. All seem very, very good candidates, and we're going to hear from them tonight. We're going to hear from them in the order that they respond. So, and they're going to answer the first 2 questions that in public. Explain some of your reason for wishing to become a school board member, and what do you perceive to be the role of a school board member. If they do that within 3 minutes and there's more time, they can share whatever they would like. We're going to start with Melanie Briggs because she was the first application that we received, then Paul Erickson, and then Josh Laird. Good evening, Melanie.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Briggs. I am a parent and a current Fairfield student, at least for 51 months, and a property owner in the district. I believe these 2 statements give me a good perspective on the big picture of the Fairfield area school district. A quality education within the financial needs of the community and in a safe environment. Why do I want to be a school board director? As I just stated, I'm a parent and a Fairfield student. We moved to the area in 2008. As a single parent with a full-time job, I'm eternally grateful to this community. From my neighbors, Karen and Brian Lowe, for 2 years letting me drop off my child every morning at their house before the bus came. The Peck family, watching my daughter over the summer between camps, all out of the kindness of their hearts. To the teachers, Mrs. Surface, Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Wertz, and many others for inspiring her to work hard independently and as a team member. I have received so much generosity from this community, and I honestly just want to give something back. I've attended almost every school board meeting in the last 18 months. I have observed the duties of the board, the interaction with the community, and the input from the administration. I have listened and I have learned. I took PTO for my own job so that I could volunteer at the polls during the primary and the November election, handing out flyers promoting the newly elected school board members. Now I want to do more for my community and more for the school. As my resume states, I had experience with budgets. I know the difference between actuals, budgets, and projections. I know that forecasting is necessary when out of the ordinary expenses or income occur. Sometimes cuts are needed because there just isn't enough money. On the other hand, there are resources out there that can be tapped into through grants, which I believe we can explore. I have extensive experience in purchasing and realize the importance of soliciting for open bids, vetting potential contractors, reading the fine details of contracts, because sometimes the lowest bid is not always the best quality, and we need to look for quality as well as affordability. The importance of getting a good education was always drilled into me as a little girl. I personally was able to get a college degree from the University of Maryland many years ago. As my own daughter's academic record indicates, I believe I have passed along that strong work ethic to her, and I hope for the opportunity to use my experiences, skills, and time to give back to this community that has been so supportive to me. And what do I perceive the role to be as a school board member? According to the PA School Board Association Service Guide, the responsibilities of a school director are as follows, quote, adopting and maintaining compliant board policies. Thank you very much.
I have two reasons for seeking this position. The first reason is the importance that I hold for education. I think education is the most critical thing a society does to perpetuate itself. And I also think it's critical that each student is prepared to be able to step into young adulthood with some reasonable opportunity to succeed. The second reason is that I believe I can make a positive difference to the board in this regard. First, I hold a master's in education, and I taught the public school system for 10 years in secondary education, but I was certified K through 12, so I've experienced it all. So I understand the dynamics of how the school works, how the teachers think, what it's like in the classroom, and I understand the nature of the challenges faced by public schools. The second is, as a senior management in government, I've been responsible for large programs, including 5 years as a director for training and education for the Central Intelligence Agency. So on the one side, it's being in the classroom as a teacher, the other side is being as a program manager, strategic planner, working with budgets, and the like. I believe the school board has three distinct responsibilities. First, it has to establish the pace and the direction for the education within this district. It needs to develop or make sure there's a strategic plan for educational attainment that's transparent, that the community sees, the administration sees, the teachers see, the students see. And the plan should also include measurable objectives. Words don't really matter until you can have annual objectives you can measure and actually show. That leads me to the second role, and that's exercise educational oversight over the school system. You have to look at the performance against established priorities and objectives and regularly review them and in some way make them transparent to the community. And they pay the freight to have a good sense of how we're achieving our goals or not achieving our goals. The board at the same time should stay tuned to the needs and concerns of the school district residents as things arise. You ought to have 1 ear to the students, 1 ear to the teachers, 1 ear to the administrators, and 1 ear to the citizens. In some ways, I think board members are unbusted. And third, we need to provide financial stewardship. The expenditure of funds should be justified within the context of our established goals and programs. And this is the way you can know when you can cut and where you can cut. And additional funding should only be sought if the board can assure the residents that the monies already allocated are being spent effectively and that the quality of education can only be maintained or improved by the injection of funds. With my time not up, I just say there's another reason is I enjoy being a school teacher. I enjoy being with kids. And part of the things being a board member would allow me to do is to be with the kids once again. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. Josh Clary again. Very much unscripted, so we're just gonna go. I'd like to start off by saying a quote that always sticks with me. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. It's always stuck with me, and that's pretty much what's driving me here. Why do I want to be a school director? Well, I have 2 children in the district, both in elementary school. We were hypercritical of the past board, and I get that. And I think it's only fair that I put myself out there so that other people are hypercritical with me. I think we as a community it's a very rare community, I'll put it that way. We've lived here for about 15 years. I've never in my life lived in a community that was so supportive. Everybody will do something for anybody. It's amazing. Through I volunteered in the elementary schools, the amount of people that are there, those kids, they know everybody. You know, once a person's there to help, they're a star to those children. And once they see that you actually care about what they're doing and what they're learning, you never get over that feeling. This is another way, I believe, of giving back to the community. I have made an absolute life out of public service. Everybody knows I'm fired. I've done that since I was 16 years old. For the first 15 years, I did it for nothing. And that is what I do. I have a long list of credentials in safety and public education or public emergency stuff.
We did receive those, thank you.
But honestly, I think it's the heart that matters. And you have to think about the children. Not all children come from the same place. You have to treat them as children, just like you should probably treat people like people. Let's see, roles of a school board member. First and foremost, I think we owe it to everybody, not only the children, but the community, to be honest, to be open, to be respectful. Everybody has different opinions on everything, and you're never going to make everybody happy. I think you need to have broad shoulders. I think you need to be able to take one on the chin and explain your position. I think you need to be reasonable and do your research. And that's one thing, like April said earlier, I believe in research. I very rarely get caught. I very rarely get surprised. And I believe that if given this chance, I will make everybody proud. Thank you.
All right, I understand that this is the way that we are going to do this. I first am going to ask you for nominations. And then I will ask you for a second. No, I don't need a second. I will ask you for nominations. Then when we have no more nominations, then we'll vote. So I'm opening it up to nominations of these 3. And first of all, I want to say you all 3 are fine candidates. You all 3 would be an excellent part of our team. This group right now is so positive about education, and I get the sense from all 3 of you that you will be a good asset. So thank you for applying. Okay, Marcy?
I nominate Melanie Briggs.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I nominate Josh.
Okay.
I nominate Ms. Erickson.
All right, well then we close those nominations and now we vote.
Can we take all three of them? Well, I make a motion, we just accept all three of them. Expand the board.
Hey.
Expand them on
You
that.
cannot do that. You have not. No, denied.
Can't do that?
Unless you're gonna try to kick out one who didn't attend today.
Well, no, she's.
I'm joking.
All right, well,
She's away. out of the country.
here's the problem now, we need 5 votes. So we're gonna continue.
You're gonna have to vote for a few.
Until we get 5 votes, so think about your vote. Yes, you may, yes, go ahead, do that.
Mr. Erickson, I thought your resume was really impressive. I just wanted to ask, what ties do you have to go to the community or the school district?
I mean, to the community per se,
In the school district in general.
well, I don't have a tie to the community in terms of the children in the schools. My tie is being around public school children for 10 years and teaching them. And wanting to make sure that children have a quality education. So my link would be with other people's children.
So in this district specifically, do you have this district?
Well, I live here. I'm gonna live here for a long time. I mean, I've lived here for 3 years. I'm not planning on going anywhere. So
Okay.
my linkage is to where I live.
And Paul, you attended board meetings in the past.
A couple, yeah. I mean, to be fair with you, I don't come to the board meeting when I'm gonna stand up, and offer something.
Anybody else have any questions for either Josh or Melanie?
I was just a little concerned about Josh's schedule. In some ways, I think, we work like 4 on or 4 off.
I work 1 on, 2 off.
1 on, 2 off. 'Cause
So every 3 weeks, I will work the same day. And I've actually looked at the schedule out, and through June or July, I would miss 1 meeting.
Well, the reason I'm asking.
And that's all farther away.
The first 2 years I volunteered in school, I thought he was a teacher because he was there. Oh, well, and we went on field trips together, that's where we met, so I thought that's a good thing. But, I just say, no, just.
I know, we have
That's
3
right, after a
fine
third grade
candidates, it's a
we
tough,
sure did.
it's a tough
And I also feel
decision.
like he can help on committees and that kind of stuff because of his expertise in security, homeland security, he's been, was part of his resume, part of that, trained in that kind of stuff. So I think that would be beneficial to the school too. Yeah.
Okay. Becky, you want to start?
Well, we gotta go. No, we gotta say break and count how many votes.
So the traditional.
Oh, the first person.
Yeah, so yeah, unless you as a board agree otherwise, the traditional role is to vote on the first person who is nominated and then go down the line.
Okay, well then we've got Melanie, she was first person nominated, so, welcome, thank you. We're almost there.
Mrs. Paquette?
No.
I can't hear, who'd you ask first? I didn't hear it.
Mrs. Paquette for Ms. Gray.
Melanie.
Melanie. And who else did you ask?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Mays?
Yeah.
Mr. Murray?
No, I'm allergic to them.
No, just yes or no.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Stroller?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Meter?
Yes.
Mr. Wickham?
Yes.
Mrs. Michael?
Yes. So we don't need to move on because it's
That's
now
it.
6 for Melanie. Dave, we need you now. Melanie?
Would you please be?
Greg, you should have voted. Now you don't have a chance. Thank you. Sure. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were doing this. So you're gonna repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support,
Why did I?
obey, and defend the Constitution
Obey and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties of this office with fidelity.
Very good, congratulations.
Is that the first mother-daughter on the board? I bet it is. I think it's awesome. I did.
Sorry, I didn't see my handwritten version.
You don't have the oath. You don't have like the paper.
I do not. For you to sign?
Yeah, it has all the signature blocks and everything on.
That's what I thought should be here, but it's not here.
Okay, well, then I will,
So, I'll do it and you can stop on the
I would be glad to just one round though.
That's fine.
While Melanie and Dave are taking care of that, Lonnie wants to say a few things to our two young.
So many good, really good candidates, really good resumes. I would encourage you guys not to give up on this. I really want to participate. There'll be an election again in
2 years.
2 years. Please come back and try again. Done.
Yeah. Once
Did you guys think this was gonna be quick?
We only have 3
Look
minutes.
how many people. Oh, I'm sure you like it. Okay, so.
My wife was just looking at you.
What? What?
Good job.
Well, thank you.
So you gotta run into?
There'll be a township spot then. What, thanks? I know, I can't believe you didn't talk.
One thing, though, how it turned out, but how the stuff
I'll let you set your stuff down.
you know what I mean?
Now,
Can you please write your name on your plate card?
Right. I'd like to see, and I don't know how we would ever do this, but the school is represented by Fairfield and then the township. It would be nice that when they have a vacancy, they would fill off a list from.
All right, we need an election of board secretary to complete the current 4-year term from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2017. And if you are only on for 2 more years and you become secretary, then you have to get a secretary. Just don't worry about that. Just we need to elect a board secretary. Don't all jump up here. Okay, we need a nomination.
I nominate Becky.
A second? Okay. Any other nominations? The nominations are now closed. And roll call.
You do it all, girl.
She She
Do
could,
it all.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Yes.
Mrs. Van Meter,
Just sign checks. Allocate.
Yes.
Mr. Stroller,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mrs. Mays, Ms. Briggs,
Yes.
Mrs. Paquette,
For the choice, it's yes.
and Mrs. Meichel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Becky, thank you.
You can take the timing course. It's not-
Moving to the consent agenda, is there anything that a board member wants pulled from the consent agenda? B, like in boy, all right, B, full B, anybody else?
Can I ask a question before? we
Sure,
start?
sure, go ahead.
Did,
Yeah,
G,
I stole it from you.
the rental property, is that a year lease?
It was a year lease, and if we don't do anything to stop it, then it would renew it at an increase.
What's
And that is part of
notice?
the lease.
What's the notice we have to give to? Not renewing.
We have to give them 60 days for them to move if we decide to sell it or do something else with it. They have 60 days notice.
And do they have to give notice that they're leaving before the lease?
That is in the lease, yes. It did.
Did
I don't
that
think
answer your
so.
question?
Good, yep.
You don't want to pull then? Okay, it's good to stay?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna vote now. I need a motion to vote on all of these consent agenda items except B, because we're gonna pull and discuss that one.
I just have a question about L.
Okay?
Does it need to say in the qualifications of the job description that the person must meet the background check requirements of the district?
Oh, I don't remember. We have that job description.
You should say that.
It doesn't say it in there.
It does not say it in the job description?
Does it need to?
I would think so.
It doesn't
It's state
have
law.
to- It's state law, we don't.
Everybody has.
Oh, it's, everybody has to meet it. Okay, so that's okay to stay then? You don't want that pulled? Okay, great, all right. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda except for B. Second? Roll call.
Ms. Briggs,
I'm gonna abstain because I haven't seen any of these bill lists.
Ms. Paquette,
Yes.
Mrs. Mays, Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Stroller,
Yes.
Mrs. Van Meter, Mr. Whitcomb,
Yes.
Mrs. Meichel.
Yes. All right, moving back to B.
This is a surprise to me. I thought we were going to support this.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was you.
It wasn't that we aren't supporting it, we are just taking it off. We're not, it takes away the liability for us. I mean, it's
They're
still,
going,
they're
it's two
still,
students,
yeah,
they're
it's two
going
students
with,
who are going with people from Upper
Upper
Adams. Which is exactly where the school, the teacher who was from to begin with. So nothing has affected what they're doing, just our accountability.
How does that represent the time work at school?
Their
Education.
field trip, which I'm sure her mother will make sure is filled out.
She went last year.
I know.
Yeah, she went last year.
So there's no downside to us not
Nope.
supporting that?
they're still gonna get to go. We have your
It
word.
just, they're going. I mean, they're going as far as we're concerned. I mean, if something happens to the, if the travel agency says, no, now we're not taking them, that's
Well, if the State Department puts on it,
correct.
they won't go.
We're freeze.
Seems like that would come out. Just a liability.
Just a protection for us.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion for B. Second. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Yes.
Mrs. Van Meter, Mr. Stroller,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mrs. Mays, Mrs. Paquette,
Yes.
Ms. Briggs,
Yes.
Mrs. Meichel.
Yes. Going to other discussion items, we have the LIU general operating budget. Did you want to say anything about it? They all, oh, except, no.
I have a question about it.
Okay.
Of course, I didn't bring it, so I can't remember what it was. I saw that, I should have written it down.
Well, you you can always ask the question anytime. Not, you don't have to.
Well, I just noticed the budget, the amount decreased, but there was a shift in where it went. It went to like administrative costs went real high, and then both the education or technology resources went down. So I can email you guys what the exact line item was, but I was surprised to see the big shift in where the money was going.
And it decreased,
Well,
is what you're
it was a shift in money.
Yeah.
It became more of a administrative cost over a educational piece.
So, I mean, the total budget or the total allot that the schools put into it went down, which good or bad, but then with the shift in money of where it went was more of it went to administrative cost than education.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I will.
I gotta look at it closely.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Okay, well. The IU is shifted the money from one area towards the administration.
Yeah. But it was a chunk.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, it was a chunk.
And if we don't support that,
You don't support what?
them doing that. Of course, we have representatives, he is Todd Orner from Gettysburg, he's our representative on the LIU board. I suggest you email him and ask him that very question, what's going on?
I will respond.
Yeah. And you know what, you are welcome, any board member is welcome to go to those LIU board meetings. They're usually the first, Tuesday of every month? You know, so if you would like to see, that's all 25 school districts that come there and being represented by certain board members. Like, we're represented, there's 3 districts. Todd represents Gettysburg, us, and those are the 3 that he represents. So he answers to us too. So, you know, you're welcome to ask him those questions. Yeah,
I'll send you guys.
yeah. Thank you. Caroline, you want to talk about the projection?
I already did.
Okay.
I just moved mine up so I didn't have to talk twice.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Also, I want to just real quickly say something to you about this legislative luncheon that Karen had sent us. I'm going, and I want some of you all to go. We need to talk to these legislators about this budget that has not been passed. You people need to be writing your legislators about this budget.
I have personal conversation.
Not the governor, it's the House of Representatives.
I talked to them.
Well, good, then I'm hoping that we're gonna have budget, is that what you're telling me? Because I can't even get down now to answer my emails anymore, so, but let me just tell you, this, and I know I've said this to you before, but some of you are new in here, and I want you all to know this. In the 70s, the state paid 50% and the locals paid 50%, and as the years have gone, the state keeps paying less and less, so what happens? We have to pay more and more. How do we get that? We have to raise the taxes, property taxes, because our legislators do not have the guts to do what's right for education. Then to top it off, how many years ago did they do the cyber charter school under Corbett? We now pay for cyber charter school. That comes from our budget. We pay in this district over $500,000, or 500 million. How much?
Over half a million.
500,000, over 500,000. Oh my God, I wish we had that money. I know, you can tell. This makes me so angry, I could just, Alex, please don't put that on there, but really, they need to step up and do what's right for education in this Commonwealth. I think it's a crime what they're doing, and I think you people need need to be talking to these legislators.
Why do parents want to send their kids to cyber schools?
Well, I don't know, because they still have to pay property taxes, but, sort of, yeah. But we now, and I don't mind cyber or charter schools, believe me, because every district now has their own within the district. And if a student wants to do that for whatever reason, then they should be allowed to do it within our district. We shouldn't be paying for them. We pay per pupil to the cyber charter schools who do not have busing, who do not have lunches, who do not have buildings to maintain. And their CEO, when our previous superintendent was here, I don't know what the new statistics are, so I gotta go back to that one. When he was here, their CEO for cyber charter schools got paid 10 times what he was paid. And you all were here for the last 2 years to see what kind of stuff he had to put up with. That, to me, is an injustice. Well, that was a whole travesty, but that was an injustice. Just why is that man getting paid 10 times and has not the responsibility? How do our legislators, how do they justify this? I just don't get it. Well, anyway, I'm off my thing.
They justify it to their voters who vote them in.
Well, we've got an election coming
No,
up.
I'm just saying, they justify it to the voters who vote them in.
Well, get out there,
It's not,
people.
it's not the legislature.
All right, here's the thing, though. We've got a legislative luncheon, March 11th at 11:30 at Hats. And it costs, the cost will be picked up by the district if you go. We need to go and we need to meet with those legislators.
So just let me know if you want to go so I can register you. My guess.
Nice job, Pam.
Excited about it, but it makes me angry. It's just such a travesty. The other thing, the library group, we will be trying again here to do that. I'm hoping Ann will be part of that committee, and then maybe Ms. Weekly also would be part of that, so that we can look at what are we going to be doing with our library.
Which library are you talking? Elementary?
Well, Ann is leaving.
I know. I thought we were advertising.
Well, we
did advertise.
We did advertise.
Did we get applications?
We have 3 applications. And there had, it's interesting that Ann's comment about hiring a long-term sub, which is what I wanted to do to begin with, so that we could actually look and make a wise decision on what to do next with the libraries in general. The problem is, FEA reminded me that that is a permanent position. They will not stand for a long-term sub. So therefore, you either have to say, we're not going to fill that position and it'll be through attrition, or that it will, we will hire somebody, and then what happens if, again, you want to actually change the way things are done and improve overall, then you're stuck, then you have a staff member that you may not need. So that's the issue. I did ask Mrs. O'Connor to stay till the end of the year. Because, because that was, and I knew there were some other reasons why that wasn't possible. And that's okay. But I did ask her to do that, and I did explain to her my vision for the library. And one of it is for you to go to Hanover and see what's there and what other people have, and what needs we have as a district and where we're going. Because Mrs. Mentor was right. Kids come out of the womb anymore knowing technology. It's a foreign world for most of us sitting here because we're all old.
It's what's going on over in
Hanover.
Excuse me.
Not you two.
It's what's going on.
We all Brian teaches. Yeah, kids are teaching us. Right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Is what's going on in the Hanover system, is that for elementary school?
They are working it down to that. Yes, right now it's at the high school, middle school.
Yeah, it's at the high school.
It's in the high
It
school.
is at the high school, middle school, but
And what we're
plan
lacking
is
is the
eventually
elementary
will be throughout the entire district. So
But I like Ann's comment that we really need to not just look at Hanover, but look at what else is going on.
I'd love to take it to Pittsburgh because there's a great school out there. The only problem is that school was given a $2 million grant from the Carnegie Foundation to do theirs. But I don't think anybody's gonna give us a $2 million grant.
Did anybody write Oprah? She's big on education.
So are you saying you have a vision or?
I do.
Okay, could you share that?
Sure.
Okay.
My vision is that they become technology learning centers. When you do the research and all, nothing personal, Greg, I agree with you, the books in kids' hands are very important. I'm the first one to say that. But as they get older. Huh?
There's a button in there somewhere.
There is a button in there somewhere. But as we go along, we've got to teach kids technology. Our kids come out of here further behind than our counterparts even within this county. Our kids aren't doing the videos and some of the movies and some of the things that just everybody else, they have the equipment and the ability to do. So we do need to, at one time, when I first got here, I'm going to use the tech system, which is, as you can see, it's not there anymore, because there used to be a TV up there. When I got here, Fairfield was supposed to be the state of the art because they had the TechNet system. That was the Sprint showcase. Everybody came to see it.
Well,
Now it's
there we go.
Yeah.
Now we have got to put money, Mayor Stanley, into technology.
Well, the other
in
5
this-
districts still doing science fairs.
Pardon me?
The other 5 districts in Adams County.
I don't know,
still
we
doing
need
science
to look at technology. We've got equipment that needs to be, we hired.
Is now the time to take the time to be doing this, or is it something that?
It will be part of the discussion of our work session as we go forward.
So now.
But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to interview because, and I have no other choice. I am going to go back to FBA one more time. They know that, it's not that I don't think we should hire a teacher. It's that, I think we need to hire what we need. And whether if somebody who has not only a library science degree, but somebody with a technology degree. Because those people are out there that have the dual certifications. And, I don't see that word come out of my mouth. But anyhow, then the advantage would be you would have somebody who would integrate both the technology piece as well as the library science piece.
Anyway, that's the reason why she really wanted the sub to begin.
But one that's gonna have the time to really make a strong
To look at
decision.
everything. But if the FDA is saying no, then that.
And that ties my hands and ties your hands.
This is something so that we can't, advertise and look for that type of person with technology and libraries, right? Because that does give us the ability to move it where we want, with the person in place.
You gotta be able to afford the technology.
Well, what
You're
if,
talking about
what if,
integrating
what
this
if,
into the library.
what if the 3 that applied were not appropriate, and so we wanted to open it up? So we'll.
It can be done, but you have to.
Excuse me, we're not done yet, ladies. Ladies,
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
we are not done yet, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
You think it's high school?
You have to remember, Mrs. O'Connor's done February 18th.
Thanks, Army.
So then the question will be, well, now what are you gonna do when you have an open position? Well, you have an open position, you put a day-to-day sub in it, kind of skirted the whole concern of FEAs to begin with.
Okay, that's our dilemma.
So,
By time.
well,
Next Monday at
yeah,
the
we will
workshop.
discuss more, and like I said, I will go back to FDA and ask the question. I'm sure I know what the answer is gonna be, but I'm gonna ask it.
And then in the next work session, would that be the appropriate place to start talking about concerns about this future technology lab?
Now, what, Karen?
I just want to talk a little bit more about the possibility of this technology lab in elementary school. I have some concerns about putting some technology in the hands of kids that maybe aren't quite old enough for it. I think, I've seen a lot of studies about children younger than 12 having contact.
See this 2-year-old?
Yeah.
Trust me, she's pretty talented
No, I understand that. I'm not saying that they can't use it. I'm saying should they use it and have access to it all the time.
Oh, no, No.
So I guess that's why I'm
Okay,
like,
I'm
I
with
wanna
you.
talk about this a little bit more.
You mean
because
internet.
now is the time to wait.
No,
Okay.
not now, yeah, right.
It'll be on the work session.
Does anybody have any other discussion items that they want to bring up?
Who's on the library?
Well, it's not really the committee.
Yeah,
I
there's a
don't have a committee. Becky, Greg, Ian, Kelly, and I, we're gonna go over to, Hanover.
That's what.
And if you would like to go, we'll include you too. Do you have a bus that can take us over there? Because my car won't hold on.
The more to the goats, unless you have to pay chip in for gas.
Oh, gosh.
Just saying.
Lonnie will take you horseback.
Yeah, you drive right over on the. Anybody else want to bring up any other items? Besides me. Okay, Karen received this from the Public School Employees Retirement System. They're going to conduct a special election this spring for a school board member to serve the remainder of a 3-year term on the Public School Employees Retirement Board, which is the completion of Larry Breach's term. The election is necessitated because Mr. Breach was not reelected to his school board position in November 2015. And the term will end on December 31st, 2017. We request that you notify all school board members about the special election. A school board member wishing to run in this election. Think about this, you guys. 1, you be a member of a Pennsylvania Public School Board. Oh, y'all got that. 2, you submit an affidavit attesting to that fact. You could do that. Submit nominating petitions with 25 signatures of other school board members from at least 5 different school districts. We wouldn't have any problem getting that. Submit a completed biographical form to PESers. Any school board member who wishes to become a candidate should request a nomination packet and more information on the duties and responsibilities. And if you are interested, let Karen know. We need to, if anybody from our district is going to do this, we need to have it returned to Ms. Cope by 4:30 on March 1st. Think about that. That's how retired was. What?
I said, we have Marcy, she just jumped at the chance.
Yeah. Okay, got that, Marcy. All right. Okay. The next board meeting is next Monday at 6, which will be our work session, and then it'll be followed by us at 7 o'clock, the regular board meeting. That's going to be an interesting thing to do, the discussion, and then go right immediately afterward. And evidently, you're all invited to dinner next week, since we couldn't have the dinner last week. And the district received $600 from Fairfield to be used for winter conditioning, and Karen said that. Thank you. Anything else for the good of the cause? Speak now or forever? I need a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Thank you.
No, and I need you for a
You and Melanie, I think we'll give Melanie at least one more meeting before we dominate her.